I'm glad to share with you the Ignatian insights for Jesuit Refugee Service. Jesuit Refugee Service, which is an apostolic action of the Society of Jesus, naturally flows from an Ignatian spiritual ethos, an Ignatius way of living, and responds to a complex situation of our times. In 1538, there was a severe famine in Rome. There was a state of emergency due to the failure of harvest. Saint Ignatius and his 9 companions would set out at early dawn for collecting dry rations, begging for bread, wood, and straw. They used to carry these materials on their shoulders, and the collected materials were distributed to the beggars, to the needy, and the homeless, and the starving people who literally lay in the slush of the Roman streets. St. Ignatius used to instruct his companions to visit the prison, to give alms, to comfort the sick, and assist those who are in need. Ignatius himself was a beggar and experienced the humiliating and degrading life of a beggar. A few years before and during suppression, the expelled members were like refugees. Jesuit property was confiscated. Our identity as Jesuits was removed. They were ill-treated and alienated. The plight and agony of the prison refugees were the experience of Jesuits during suppression. In the line of St. Ignatius, Father Arupe reflected on the pitiable and horrendous experience of Vietnamese boat people, starving multitudes in Sahara belt, and the forcefully displaced people all around. By keeping in touch with the suffering humanity, he was prompted by the Spirit to found JRS on November 14, 1980. In his letter to major superiors, we cannot ignore if we are to remain faithful to St. Ignatius, criteria for an apostolic work, and the recent calls of the 31st and 32nd congregations. The society is being called to render a service that is human, pedagogical, and spiritual benefit also to the society. The response of St. Ignatius and the early companions to the needs of the displaced people in Rome inspired Father Petru Arupe to act in a manner. Jesuits dedicate themselves to the universal mission of the Church in the world. It's a service that transcends all barriers. Refugee issue transcends geographical, cultural, social, and even spiritual barriers. Universality dimension of Ignatian spirituality is rooted in the service towards the forcefully displaced people. Members working with JRS should inherit the dimensions of universality of mission, not only in terms of composition of members, but diverse ethnic and cultural background of the displaced. Our option for the poor and the marginalized is spelt out in GC 32nd. Ignatius and his companions preached in poverty. JRS members enter into solidarity with the refugees and forcefully displaced people who have no identity, no border, and they are people of nowhere. To Matthew's question, Lord, when was it that we saw you hungry or thirsty, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did not take care of you? Jesus replied, just as you did not do it to one of the least of these, you did not do it to me. The God of Ignatius is inclusive. God is laboring in history. Refugee history is wounded, persecuted, and uprooted. As members of JRS, we meet and serve Muslims, Hindus, Christians, Buddhists, atheists, and agnostics. We find that the Spirit is permeating all our works. Collaboration and partnership. JRS is in partnership with the local church, province, international bodies, organizations in order to bring maximum benefits to the largest number of deserving people. Saint Ignatius showed the example for collaboration and partnership. Strategic planning, execution, and evaluation of projects, activities, and engagement is truly an Ignatian. From the analysis of realistic needs of refugees, we make strategic planning with the refugees. Greater love and level of participation of refugees is appreciated for effective operation. We try to foster community discernment and cooperation in all our teams. We draw inspiration from Saint Ignatius to attend to the greater needs, seek the more universal good, and go where there is lack of others for the service.